For question letter F on problem number 1, we'll want to consider trying to get rid of this square root to try to make the problems a little easier to combine. When we take a look at the left-hand side and see the square root, hopefully our instinct is to square, which is the opposite. But if I square the left-hand side, I'll also have to square the right-hand side. Since the right-hand side is technically one large quantity, x minus 5, you'll notice I put it in parentheses. By putting it in parentheses, it will remind us that we are technically multiplying the entire thing times itself twice. Specifically, that'll look like this. The square root will cancel the square, leaving me with x minus 3 on the left. And then, of course, x minus 5 squared is really x minus 5 times itself, x minus 5 again. When we see it written this way, that will hopefully remind us that we need to use the distributive property. We can't just say x squared and 5 squared. We have to actually multiply it all out. If I multiply it all out, that would give me x times x, which is x squared, x times negative 5, which is negative 5x, negative 5 times x is negative 5x, and negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. If I combine like terms in the middle, that'll give me, again, x minus 3 equals x squared, now minus 10x plus 25. Now that I look at this problem and I see x's on both sides, I'm going to move the x minus 3 from the left-hand side over to the right-hand side to join up with the like terms here. That would give me on the right-hand side x squared minus 11x plus 28, and now on the left-hand side equal to 0. Now that I've moved everything over, the most appropriate method would certainly be to factor. This could be an easy diamond problem with numbers that multiply to 28 and add to negative 11, and those numbers would be negative 7, negative 4, since they satisfy the 28 and they add up to negative 11. Again, we always look back at our original problem to determine what we need for factors, but since the original problem starts with x squared, we know that each of our parentheses will simply start with an x. After the x, we can use the numbers from the diamond as minus 7, minus 4, but of course those are still equal to 0. So we'll need to employ the same zero product property to solve. That means we take x minus 7, equal it to 0, and also x minus 4 and equal it to 0. If I solve the first one by adding 7 to both sides, I'll know that x is going to be positive 7. If I take the second one and move the 4 over to both sides, I know that I get x equals positive 4. But once again, we notice, just as we did in letter B, that we have a discrepancy. The question only features one answer space, and yet there are two answers that we got when we're solving. But once more, that means we typically have an extraneous solution. If I go back and plug in 7, 7 minus 3 is positive 4, the square root of 4 is 2, and 7 minus 5 is 2. So that answer makes sense. It's the other answer, 4, that doesn't make as much sense. 4 minus 3 is 1, and the square root of 1 is 1. But on the right-hand side, 4 minus 5 is negative 1, and that can't be. So 4 must be our extraneous solution, which means it is not valid, and 7 must be the only valid solution that we have.